This is a place.
This is the place?
This is a place. We want to talk about. This is a place.
Thank you for listening to This is a Place podcast. My name is Brandon, and I'm joined by a man who has no more jokes for the year, Nate.
I am fresh out of jokes. I've used them all up.
Better get writing for the new year, because it's just around the corner.
That's one of my resolutions.
We'll get to the resolution.
I need to write 52 more jokes for the next year.
52.
Or at least 52 more jokes.
Did we do 52 a year? I think we did 53 this year. At least.
Well, speaking of jokes, I got a question for you. I thought I've had.
All right.
You have bands who do covers. They have karaoke, which is basically amateur doing professional song.
True.
If I went into a stand-up comedian club, a comedy club, stand-up comedian club, a comedy club, but had like jokes that I just covering from other people, would people be upset about that? Like you stole jokes?
It's just a joke joke karaoke.
Yeah, right? I thought about that. It'd be fun to like take like 10 comedians, like all their funniest jokes, and then make that your stand-up bit. But maybe you could disclose to the crowd, like, hey, just so you know, I did not write any of these jokes. These are my favorite jokes from other comedians.
Yeah.
But would people would they enjoy it as much knowing that, oh, this isn't a personal experience from this guy?
Maybe because if they haven't heard the jokes before, it's their first time hearing it. Sometimes It's the same with covers. You'll do a cover of a song that people don't really know, or it'll be a resurgence of a song.
Right. So, anyways,
I think you should do it.
Just a thought.
What's your material? Who are you gonna?
Oh, I don't know, because like I always have, when you go through like Facebook, you'll pop up stuff you look at a lot. So I have they'll have like a lot of clips from stand-up comedians I've watched over the years pop up. And I'm like, oh, what if I were to like take that joke from like Nate Bargatze? He's hilarious. Have you ever seen him? Like one of Mitch Hedberg's, and just like compile the set for amateur night at what was that place called? The comedy place?
Wise Guys.
But would people be like, hey, you stole that joke?
If you tell them beforehand, though.
Or at the end, maybe you don't till the end, so that, like I just talked about, so you don't like ruin the jokes. People are like, oh, these aren't his jokes. So they may not find them as funny if they don't think it's a personal experience. Even though most of the jokes comedians have are all made up anyways, right? They're not really personal. Everyone's really like, oh, I had no idea that they're just writers. Except for Nate Bargatze, you wonder, like, I think a lot of his stories are just real, because that's all he does is tell stories that happens to him. And
bird stories. I bet his are all real.
Who? Oh, Bert's another one. Yeah. He's
there's no way his stories are made up. They're just too.
Well, he's like so redneck that they have to be real, right?
Yeah.
They're white trash. He's not really redneck. He's more like white trash, but he's hilarious. Yeah, there's a lot of them out there that I'm just like, man, I could just like do like top 10 jokes from all my favorite comedians, and I'll do a stand-up set and then make people laugh.
Have you done stand-up before?
No, not really. I'm just a wise guy, wisecracking. Like one night, I do impressions. I think I might have told this before. I used to do a lot of impressions. I was pretty good at some, if you have like a strange voice, I remember one night when I lived at the Alta Apartments in Provo before my mission, and there was a guy that just had a way odd voice, and he's a neighbor, and he was kind of like the Kramer of the apartment complex. He just kind of walk into people's places and just want to talk, and then he just leave. Mm-hmm. He had an odd voice, and after he left one night, I mimicked his voice to my roommates, and they were dying laughing. And then I said, well, you don't want to hear you then, because they all had, anyways, I could do each one of their voices. So I've done like stand up in that way where I make fun of people to their face.
Well, now
And then
I'm nervous to ask, but I want you to do me.
I don't know if your voice is too mainstream. I mean, I could take a minute to figure it out if I wanted to, but like if you have like an interesting like voice, then
Or can you
I'm pretty.
pinpoint things I'm always saying or always doing? Do I have enough of those things that
I
it sticks
I
out?
guess I could, but I've been around. I don't know. Maybe I don't do as much as I used to pay attention to it. But
You're out
in
of
the
practice.
MTC, yeah, in the MTC, because I would always bring out a character in class. I got in trouble in class a lot in the MTC for not paying attention or taking the teacher drew a circle on the board one day and then drew a line. Says, you know what that is, Elder Linnell? And I'm like, what? He goes, that's a tangent. Stop taking us off on tangents. Like, you need to stay focused on the subject. Because I would even get the teacher involved going down these rabbit holes. But I do with these voices. So this kid, like, I want my mom to hear your voices or something like that. And he kept begging and begging and begging me. And then I like finally one night grabbed his tape recorder thing and I did like this whole 5 minute skit, like improv skit with all my voices. And apparently they thought it was so funny that people started making recordings of it. And so it went through the whole MTC. And I was walking to the temple one day and this kid goes, "You're Elder Linnell? You're the guy on that tape?" Yeah, I guess so.
Were you
That's
doing
me.
impressions of church leaders or what?
I've done those before.
But was that what you're doing on the recording? Like what
No,
stuck
I
out so
did.
much?
I did. Rocky was one that people liked. I mean, they're really easy ones. Rocky, Yoda, I think was on there. I
Kermit.
did Adrian and Rocky's monologue on the beach on Rocky 3, where she's yelling at him. But I turned it into I think I turned it into like the cafeteria at the MTC, talking about the lunch or the food there. Um, like Mickey Mouse. I can't remember. The Kermit the Frog, that's an easy one too. But maybe that's what we should do next year is every year we should, or at least once a month, we should have a celebrity come on our podcast and like they do on the radio. But
I like it.
yeah, there's a new guy on SNL right now. Like a lot of people who do voices, like yeah, that works, but it's not like exactly like the person. Like you couldn't get away saying that's doing a voiceover for him.
Yeah.
That's kind of like me too. Like you couldn't really, you're like, oh yeah, it's really close. You know what I'm doing, but it's not like exactly like the person. But the guy in SNL, like when he does his voices, like they are dead on. Like his Donald Trump is like, it's not like
Not the Alec Baldwin.
yeah, well, exactly. It's not the comedian version of Donald Trump, but he can do Donald Trump like to a T. Where if he were to call you on the phone, you would think it's Donald Trump. Like he's that good with his
Really?
impressions.
What other ones has he done? I
I don't know. He was on Jimmy. The only reason I know is he was on Jimmy because I don't really watch SNL anymore. Um, but he was on Jimmy Fallon the other day, kind of doing a bunch of his voices. I'm like, holy crap! Like he's like spot on. I can't remember the other voices he was doing, but Donald Trump was the one I was like, wow, like that's like Arnold Schwarzenegger is another one that people do, and I can do Arnold as well, I guess. But it's not like spot on Arnold. It's just they're doing an Arnold Schwarzenegger impression.
think Bill Hader was he still is one of the best with his impressions. When he did John Malkovich, man, that one is so funny to his face. He's like, I don't sound like that. You seen that one before?
I what skit is it?
It's just him pretending to be John Malkovich. I don't know if it was a skit. He just was impersonating him. He's like, I don't sound anything like that. Have you seen that one?
I think I have. I think that's what's funny about Bill. I love Bill. He's hilarious.
I think another great one is Fred Armisen. Well, I don't know, he doesn't do as many impressions, but he can do any voice in the world.
Fred?
Any any uh
Oh, dialect?
that yeah, or what how do you say it? Like not dialect. What's the word? Accent.
Nationality?
He can do
Accent?
any accent.
Yeah, he's good with accents, and that's why he's funny. And I like it when he's on when he plays the drums or the guitar for what's his name show.
Mm-hmm.
They do a little banter back and forth. It's funny.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Anyways, that has nothing to do with anything. We just went
This is
down
a
to,
tangent.
yes, all about jokes. You're the one that started it.
You know, one of the our faithful podcast listeners asked about something included in a recent episode, and I said, "This is what happens." And he says, "Well, there's no point to listening to it now. I don't want to listen to you guys talk. I just want to hear about the facts and get out." That's kind of mean, but
Hear about the facts.
that's what people want.
We don't have any facts.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. There's no facts here.
That's what Google's for.
We literally put a title on the episode, talk about it for 3 seconds, and then call that our episode. The rest of it
Right.
is just tangents,
Just fluff.
just fluff.
Just a conversation.
This is going to be a fluffy episode because our topic is first night, which was a Salt Lake City attempt at New Year's Eve for many, many years. Something that I never attended, but Nate, sounds like you went to once or twice.
No, I went either 2001 or 2002. Well, that makes sense. I could have gone both years at the same time, 2001, 2000. I think
I
it was
gone for
one.
2
Maybe it was
years.
going in from two to. I think it was maybe it was 1 to 2, 2001 to 2000. So it's celebrating 2022. That makes more sense. But yeah, they just have like tons of events. Like each on like big kind of building downtown would be hosting a different type of event, or you could just kind of walk around. And they'd have some bands out on the is it the Galvin Plaza that has where they do the concerts.
Mm-hmm.
And then at midnight they throw off fireworks, and they supposedly had the world's largest like disco ball. And to get into the event, like they'd block the city blocks off that was participating. You'd have to have like this button, right? Get into the events. I think you could walk around. I think you'd be outside, but if you wanted to get into the buildings, you had to have a button on saying that you bought your tickets to first night.
Yeah, this article said you could buy the buttons at Albertsons grocery stores
Remember Albertsons?
or the Gateway Concierge.
But I know that one time we went, I think after midnight when everyone's heading home, like the tracks, like you would after a Jazz game, the tracks gets pretty crowded. So we thought we would like walk to the next stop outside of downtown Salt Lake City, which would be like the ballpark. It's a pretty long walk when you're walking from, and especially at night when it's freezing cold. So whenever I think of tracks, I remember that night of walking along the tracks basically to find a stop where we could get on. And I don't know. It was a fun night overall.
Where did you watch the countdown at the Galvin Center?
I think we did. Yeah.
Did they do their own countdown or was it streaming from New York?
No, I think they did their own. Pretty
Okay.
sure it was their own.
Some kind of ball or the disco ball drop in or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I honestly, I mean, it seemed like it lasted for a long time. They tried to turn first night into, I don't know how you pronounce it, Eve, but it was with 3v3. So the idea was 3 nights of
Partying, Mardi Gras.
partying, something like that. But
Well,
I
they
don't know.
even-
It just seemed like first night and the Eve just kind of fizzled and it never really.
I don't know when it stopped happening. Like it wasn't a COVID thing, was it?
Yeah, it was before that.
But they used to, I think they expanded it to where they started doing like it was all together. So they did Salt Lake City, Ogden, and Provo all kind
And
of
St.
their own thing.
George.
And San Jorge.
Yeah, it just kind of stopped, I guess. I
I
think,
wonder if it's just like the cost of doing everything. It's just not worth it.
and I feel maybe people have just evolved into wanting to spend that day at home. I mean, I don't like to go out on New Year's. It's usually if we do something, we'll go to an extended family member's home to play games or whatever. That's what we did
Yeah.
for many years when I was growing up, but it's always been a home thing for us.
holiday.
We always get Chinese food. I don't know why that's our
I
go-to.
think a lot of people do
Yeah.
get Chinese food. I feel like Chinese food and pizza are like the two big things I think on New Year's.
Yeah. I'm trying to even remember. I don't think I think I was in bed last year before it even happened. But with little
Well,
kids,
that's
it's not we
well, if
do
you
a
have
fake countdown on
on
YouTube
Netflix
or on Netflix.
or YouTube, I guess too, right? Netflix has a bunch of shows where you can do the countdown. So I
Yeah.
think we did it like 7 times last year or the year before. I can't remember, but
Yeah, I mean, I like seeing the New York.
mhm.
I don't know if I'd want to go. I'd really love to go to the Thanksgiving parade in New York, even though I hate parades. I think that would be a cool thing to do one year. I don't know if I'd want to go for New Year's to New York. Maybe.
I'll be in Times Square with all those
Hmm.
people.
It could be
Uh,
fun, but I wouldn't say that's a bucket list thing. The parade, yes, but New Year's in New York, not so much. But
huh.
I think everybody's got it used to be Dick Clark and then Regis Philbin, and it seems like now it's a bunch of different people. I think maybe who's taken over the Dick or the Regis Philbin slot
Seacrest.
is, oh, is it Seacrest?
Seacrest took over Dick Clark, right?
Okay. I was gonna say there's also Anderson Cooper and who's that other guy? Is his name Andy? I don't remember the other guy's name. But he's like host game shows and stuff like that. I think his name's Andy. But anyway, you gotta have that on in the background, right? But I just think maybe Utah was trying to replicate something close to those big cities, what they do, but I think we all just opted for staying inside instead. Who knows? Maybe that's why they got rid of it. Let us know if you know why they stopped doing the first night, or if you have any fun memories from it, if you want to see it come back. If it came back, I don't honestly think I would go still. It's probably one of the worst nights to be out on the roads because it's prolific for people having a little too much fun and not being responsible. So there's always that worry. Diverting from that though, um, I mean, New Year's is always a time to talk about goals. And I'm curious, Nate, do you have any personal goals or resolutions for the new year? You already mentioned the jokes, but what other resolutions or things do you hope to accomplish in 2023?
Um, the classical one,
Gain weight?
gain weight. Getting pretty good at that. I'd like to get back into shape, lose a few pounds. It's hard for me because everyone starts on January 1st, right? But January is my birthday month, and I get all those deals for restaurants. So I usually don't start till like February on that goal for losing weight if I have that as one of my choices. Um, I think one thing I want to do this year, you see people post all the time. And I don't want to get like all like what do you call it, sentimental, anything like that, but or emotional. I don't want to get emotional for Clint. Um, like people post all the time, like, hey, if you have like suicide thoughts, like give me a call, I'm always available. But I'm like, is the person ever really going to reach out to you? So, and I'm not saying like I know a lot of people I think that are suicidal, but I think I'm just going to try to do better at maybe just reaching out to people I haven't talked to in a long time
Yeah.
and make that a goal of maybe like once a week that I reach out to somebody and just send them a text saying, hey man, what's up? Haven't seen you for a while. And like not you, Brandon, because I see you all the time, but people that you don't see
Right.
very often. I think that's gonna be one of my goals this year. So by the end of the year, I've reached out to 52 different people that I hadn't seen for a while to see how they're doing. So just to check in. But
Yeah.
like I said, I'm not saying that the people I check in with. So if I do check in with you, I'm not saying I think you're suicidal by any means, but I just think
Or the
that
people you check in with, not necessarily just letting people know you're there.
yeah, that I'm
More
there
so than
or
just
are
saying,
thinking of them, and everybody likes that when I get texts every once in a while from people like, hey, I just haven't thought for a while. How you doing? And it makes you feel good, right? So I'm like, I need to do that to more people. So that's one of my goals, and I think I might have made this a goal last year too. But I want to do better and it's kind of a weird goal, but I want to be better like at social media, just posting stuff because it's it, it's fun when you see a memory from like years ago. So in a way, it's almost like a journal that you're journalizing your life, but just and it's also fun to see other people what they're doing. So I'm like maybe somebody out there outside the podcast that doesn't listen to the podcast wants to know the cool stuff I'm doing, like first night and all that good stuff. So
Yeah, I hear you there.
so maybe be a little bit more active on the social media as far as me posting stuff that I'm doing just for keepsake for years down the road. Be like, oh yeah, remember when we did that activity?
Yeah.
So how about you, Brandon?
I always do the weight goal every year.
Mhm.
I think this year I'm going to track my weight, but I'm not going to set a goal because when I'm not hitting the goal, I just get deflated.
Just give up.
So you and I were both doing really good at going into the gym, and
Yes, that's another thing.
I
We need to
am
get back on that.
motivated. I think I'm motivated to do it again and to be active, but just and I was actually going to start my quote unquote resolutions in December, but December's been it's been an interesting month. It's been a kind of a difficult month to do stuff like that. So I have not been so good at my dreams of doing it. I fell off pretty early. But yeah, I want to get back to doing that, going to the gym at least 3 times a week, doing some cardio the other days of the week. I want to read more. I want to
Are you saying you want me to send you more articles to read
know
for me?
like books.
Oh,
Because I was going to
actual.
read books this last year, but I failed pretty miserably at that. So I want to read some more books. I want to be less involved with like my phone, things like that. Yeah, I mean, I just kind of the same goals. I don't really have anything that sticks out that's unique in that regard. At least not yet. I still have a couple days to come up with my full goal list.
Do you want to join me in my fast every day thing?
Fast every day.
Every other day. So I say every day, every other day.
Oh, I might pick up the intermittent fasting again. I don't know if I'll do it every other day. Well, I might just do periods of the day where I don't eat. But doing a whole day of fasting every other day that's tough for me. But who knows? We'll see.
You get used to it. My problem with it though is the days I do eat, I usually think, okay, I'm gonna eat healthy today. And then working from home most of the time, it's hard when there's just food like right there all the time.
Yeah, and I'd
And you're
worried
always
about like I guess just missing out if there's some kind of event or something going on. I don't want to think I can't eat because of it.
well, that's yeah. So normally how we do it, like even like today, my wife has a dinner party tonight or something. So we kind of plan around. So we usually eat Saturday and Sunday, because of the, you know, days we're both together. But during the week we're busy with everything else, so it's easier to fast on those days. But usually we talk on Sunday like what days we're going to fast. Like the preset is Monday, Wednesday, Friday that we fast. But if we have something like this week, then we'll switch the days to Tuesday, Thursday, and then Saturday, or
Mm-hmm.
we'll do Tuesday, Thursday, and then maybe Friday or 2 days in a row. Anyways, so you just have to kind of plan out the week how you're going to do it so that you don't, because that's the worst thing ever. Like I did it last year. We went to Archibald's with some friends, but it was a day that I was fasting, and I'm like, I didn't care so much to eat. Just anyways, but it sucks sitting at a table at a restaurant watching everybody eat while you're just sitting there. But
Yeah, that's gonna be hard for me. That's why if I do the intermittent each day, but I don't eat during the non-busy hours or the times I'm home and tempted to snack and eat junk, maybe that'll help me. I don't know. TBD on that one.
all right.
We do need to talk about podcast goals though. What kind of things do we want to accomplish?
I think we should do an episode every week.
Okay. That's a good goal.
We did it this last year, right?
We've done it the last 2 years.
I know. Well, 1 year at a time, Brandon. 1 year at a time. So we're undefeated.
Deal.
Doing it every week.
I want to get some cool guests. I mean, we've had a lot of cool guests, but I feel this year we slacked a little bit in the guest department. Maybe in
it's
that
been
I didn't try we didn't try to get as many
yeah,
big guests as we did
our
previously.
effort. Yeah, well, we'll admit our effort wasn't 100% in that category because
In most categories with the podcast, our effort wasn't
because
100%.
it's been a interesting
weird year.
Like
Yeah.
it's been busy, but it doesn't feel that busy, if that makes any sense. It's just like time just seems to be going faster and faster.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, but I think is there any big names you want to try and get on the podcast?
I was thinking like President Biden would be good.
Okay. Yeah, I
Get
think
President Biden and Nelson. We get President Nelson on.
that could happen, you know. Crazier
President
things have
Nelson.
happened. We could aim for some kind of big church leader of some sort. I bet we could get one of the 12, you know?
Yeah, or we can get like a local bishop.
Maybe.
Maybe.
You know, maybe we could get Brandon Flowers somehow.
Yeah, I saw a meme the other day that had a picture of the look of the face of fans. Then they find out that they've been conned into listening to Mormon rock music. And I think it also says, well, don't tell them about the Aquabats or something like that. Do
Yeah.
you even know who the Aquabats are?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. We should get some of them
We
on.
could get the Aquabats
Get the Aquabats on.
for sure.
But yeah, I think it'd be fun to
Another
get some more.
Brandon
Was-
Fugel.
The Skinwalker guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
get
the
him
guy
on.
who owns like all the commercial real estate in Utah. Everything's for sale by
Yeah.
him.
Maybe we can get the Rock Star Energy drink guy on. Go take a
Oh,
tour of
yeah.
his house.
Get a tour of his house for sure.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to get some of the more of the
Some more actors.
Utah celebrities, actors, people.
Donnie.
Donny Osmond. We still need Michael McLean needs to come on for next year's Christmas episode.
Still one of our
Assuming that he's still
going
going to assuming he's going to do another year of Forgotten Carols. Yeah, I want to also, it's been fun like getting to know a couple of the local businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Be fun to get a couple. I think there's a few influencers that they call them, social media influencers that we can get on.
We gotta get Kalani.
Sataki needs to come on and tell us what the poop is going on.
Yeah.
We need to hit Kennecott. I think that like the places I've never been to Kennecott Coppermine, so I think we need to hit that up.
We're doing a Windover trip. It's happening.
Windover has got to happen. And I don't know if we'd be able to because the water level is so low. I've never like been in the Great Salt Lake. I've never touched it with my, the water. So maybe just go touch it.
Let's go touch the
I've
Great
never
Salt
been to
Lake.
Antelope Island.
There's another. We gotta go there.
I know we should try to find out what's going on with the Cookie Wars. See if we can get somebody from like Dirty Dough or something on.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, I'd like that.
So
I think these are some good goals. I think I've written them all down. They're all documented.
they're all documented.
So we've got some good things.
Fun story. Fun story. Tangent.
It's gotta be under a minute 16 seconds.
The Beatles' best song yesterday. So back when Paul McCartney had it in a dream.
Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney had it in a dream. What did I say?
Paul McCartney.
Oh man. This is what happens when you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. But so Paul had a dream of the song, and back then they didn't have a way to record it. So he wrote it down and he didn't have the lyrics yet. So he said something like scrambled eggs, like him more than your legs, or something like that. So that's how that song came to be. The original lyrics were scrambled eggs, not yesterday. So
Nice.
anyways, let's move on.
Let's move on. Hey, thanks for listening. We got a good year coming up, 2023. Have a happy new year.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for listening to This Is a Place podcast.
See you next week.
See you next year.
Or next year.